Welcome to the General's Gentlemen.
I'm feeling the dream, and I'm feeling some Company of Heroes 2. God damn, I've got to stop saying that. Now I'm getting the habit of it.
Don't
It's so annoying.
You overuse it.
Yeah, it's not on purpose. I was just like, you know how I used to say other things or like or whatever? It's just because I used it too much in a stream, and now I'm all over it. It's really annoying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to break Blake's bad habit.
I'm not saying the dream anymore. I'm getting really annoyed. I spent the entire stream saying the dream because, I mean, a lot of stuff was the dream, to be fair, but now I have to get out of the habit. I no longer say like, I no longer say the dream. I also have to stop calling, I call them ISGs now, not IEGs.
Oh yeah, no,
which is a big plus.
To be fair, you've made fantastic progress. I don't even remember the last time you referred to a ISG as an IEG.
Exactly. I make progress. It's just one step at a time. There is no need to rush. However, GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik will be rushing out a second conscript squad here. He will be spawning in as our Soviets.
Like, is it really rushing a conscript, or is it just building a conscript?
Well,
like,
I mean, it'd be a pretty terrible transition if I said building a conscript.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did you see him pop Chrono Boost on his HQ? Yeah. Anyway, guys, hello and welcome to Company of Heroes 2. Today we have a bit of a special cast. This is one of our feedback casts. So we do have one of our Patreon backers that have recently joined the Patreon club. So firstly, a big thank you to our friend for supporting us on Patreon, and secondly, he's going to be submitting a replay to us in order to get some feedback on how the game is going to be going. However, these Sturm Pioneers, man, these are some baller Sturm Pioneers.
Yeah, they're going. I shouldn't have altered that. That was a mistake.
Oh,
so
no.
You do close room, but really it's not going to matter in that situation. We'll force the conscript squads off.
Not bad, though. Not bad.
See, the positive thing in that situation is you want to at least force a squad off before you retreat. So, I mean, technically that was well played. Probably would have been a good idea to stay on the other side of cover, but if you force a squad off, that means you have equal capping power with your opponent. That squad's forced off, your squad is forced off in that situation.
I feel like I want to pause, because this isn't like a normal shoutcast, so like we can pause and stuff. Okay. So the thing is with this map, Arnhem checkpoint or whatever, this cutoff is so important, because if you look at the map, this choke point, it's actually a cutoff for the munitions, and then from there, it allows you to cut off the right side. So what you generally see players do when they're playing the north side on Arnhem checkpoint is they will hold this garrison, use that to cut off this cutoff. Is there a word for that? Cut off this point, or decapture the cutoff.
Yeah, I like decapture.
So personally, like, that was actually not a bad trade, the Sturm Pioneers. But what I would probably recommend is instead, is if you're in a situation where you have your opponent's garrison which overlooks a cutoff, and this is the same as if you look at like Angoville, if there's a really high value cutoff and a garrison nearby, often it can work out better for you if you just kind of keep the Sturm Pioneers nearby. You don't want to leave them in there, because you obviously want to have Volks inside of the house, because Sturm Pioneers have pretty bad long range damage. But if you get Volks in there, especially if you can actually wire off the heavy cover, and then your opponent's going to have a very hard time getting back that cutoff, especially if you went Luftwaffe, gets an MG34 in that house. Losing this house as the south player can actually be pretty detrimental. So, I mean, I don't want to be too specific with feedback and stuff and too nitpicky, but I just feel like engaging your opponent isn't always like the best thing to do. Often you want to just try to be solidifying high value parts of the map. 2 minutes in, already have a long rant.
Look, that was well covered, I thought, Machine. We're doing well for the advice section of this video. Gotta love it. So, yeah, smart play. I mean, backing the conscripts off. We'll have a second squad moving up.
Like, that's great.
To cover the munitions. Yeah, fantastic. Going straight for the cutoff here. Very punishing, and capping behind it as well is excellent.
I think also we see Shadowlink being a bit aggressive here. Like in this situation, he doesn't have this point captured. He doesn't have his fuel point captured. There's no reason to be trading here. You know, he had the heavy cover there. He could have stayed there. Maybe built some sandbags on the actual point itself. Like, it's something that you actually see new players or not experienced players do is they try and find engagements rather than actually getting the important territory. So this is great. He has this house here, as we mentioned. The problem is, though, is he doesn't have his own territory. He doesn't have that, doesn't have the field, doesn't have his munitions. So, yeah, you just need to be a bit less aggressive sometimes. Okay, so back on track, though. We do have a fair few conscripts here coming out of GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik, who is our Soviets. Bit of a manpower float here. Just no reason to be floating like that. I don't know what he's going for here. Nothing more to say. Don't float manpower.
I've done this in situations where I can cap one more squad with my combat engineers before I retreat and go for a tier building, and that can kind of pay. Okay,
that could have gone a lot worse though, because he was charging through negative cover. If he actually went along the light cover, he would have had a better time. He's still not doing bad though. The Stim Pioneers will lose obviously because there's 2 squads, but if there was only a single squad there, he probably would have been fine. But in that situation, you definitely want to avoid charging through negative cover. And if you can go along the light cover, you just take less damage on approach, which is very important. However, this Muni point is decaptured, this is decaptured, so I love how this Vault squad's in here. Maybe consider going for the MG. If there's a garrison heavy map, MG34s are always a great choice as OKW.
They are indeed fantastic. So, build here for Shadowlink. Looks like he has gone for a tier building. Going for the Battle Group HQ now. Makes sense, pretty engagement heavy so far. Has been caught out in some bad engagements here, mainly not using his squads together. When you're up against a conscript heavy play, you don't want to be caught in situations where you're against a couple of squads, or in this case on the right hand side, you know, a conscript squad and a common engineer squad. You're just not going to win the engagements.
Okay, so in this situation, what I would probably do, because he knows how weak the squad is, he's seen it. If he actually evacuates this house, sends in this vault, this could actually be a wipe here. You got to think about the retreat paths. Is if your enemy squad is that low, and there's 2 squads of vaults nearby, and if they retreat, that could actually be a wipe. So that's personally what I would do. I can understand leaving the garrison, it's risky, but getting a wipe is always worth it. Yeah, it looks like he retreated anyway, so he probably wouldn't have wiped it, but in that situation, may have been worth the attempt. Just something to kind of bear in mind sometimes, but anyway, so not doing too bad, actually. Like, so far, you've got 2 VPs, he's got the house. Shadowlink's actually not doing bad, and that's entirely because this guy is floating 800 manpower. What? Don't float.
I mean, ordinarily I wouldn't say cry into my shoulder machine, but if you'd like to, I wouldn't hold it against you at this stage.
Oh.
Hopefully the Vault survives here. We'll just walk out of it. Yeah, no reason to be fighting 900 manpower at the start of the game. That's probably
now he's reinforcing. Should get medics out. Should get a tier 2 building. Probably for mortars would be the best choice on this map, or Maxims as well. Okay, so here I would recommend building the sandbags behind the strat point. If you build them behind the sandbags, then you can. Well, sorry, so if you put the sandbags behind the strat point, you can only use them from the back. So it's just a safe way, because you got to remember when you're capping a point, it doesn't actually take any longer to build the sandbags. So you might as well. You're not losing anything.
So looks like GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik hasn't gone for anything yet. Going for tier 2 now, so I'm assuming, you know, gonna see a mortar, maybe some other stuff as well. Wouldn't it be a bad map to go for a bit of guard motor, to throw that down, go for some heavy mortars. Heavy mortars are fantastic. And it would be a nice way to spend up the manpower. Maybe go for a squad of guards. Even a couple of heavy mortars wouldn't go amiss. Flamer out as well here.
Yeah, the Flame is a great choice against the garrison. So we have the forward retreat point. I think if you're going to get a forward retreat point, you might as well build it a little bit closer, especially because you're going to be behind the cover. Just because you're spending a lot of resources to get the forward retreat point, that you might as well make it more forward. Because also, if you look at the positioning as well, like, that isn't any more risky than here. You don't want to put it in a risky spot, but that is just as defensible as this. Because it actually, you know, maybe even more defensible because it's behind the shot blockers here. I mean, you don't have to do that. Like, I often don't even bother, and I just leave it in my base, and then spend that 300 manpower on something else. But it just seems kind of weird that you would go for the forward retreat point, and yet not have it far forward. It's just not as efficient as it could otherwise be.
Stormpioneer is getting taken quite low there. If possible, try and avoid engagements with flamers. If you can be put in position, Molotov's out as well, not at all surprising. We'd actually see a conscript squad wiped, was on 1 model, now on 0. Gives me a pretty good indication. Engaging at range against flamers is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, this is nice, but there can be the merge. I don't think this guy's going to do it, though, but he can just merge this engineer. Yeah. He really should just merge that.
Yeah. Keeping the engineer squad out in the field is crucial. Going to be going the long way. At least not retreating through the vaults, which is intelligent.
Oh,
Wants to walk out of there and go for the long retreat.
But now he can't clear the garrison either. In that situation, you definitely want to get the merge down, clear the garrison. He has Molotovs though, not the end of the world. Yeah, nice dodge as well by Shadowlink. Yeah. So what are you going to go for now? He has a lot of manpower, 670. He has a few options. Fallschirmjäger would be great. MG34, ISG, and really anything would be a good choice. 3 Volks is a pretty good number. Against good players, you got to expect like a T70 or a Stewart or a vehicle. So you kind of want to have a preemptive Raketten, especially in the next patch when there's no longer any Shreks. So you definitely want to get a preemptive Raketten of some kind. Looks like these cons may go down here. Going for the nade. Okay, nice. But you're going to lose the cons for that, or maybe not. You know, it gets away from that. So, yeah, especially when you have that much manpower, you really want to get a Raketten out. Get some mines down if preferable, like on a couple of those cutoffs. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what you build. Just build things. Floating that much resources is never good. That's just always bad. Because then you can't get map control. In this engage, he's going for a nade, but you gotta remember, when the squad's that low, even the crew can take it down. Often not worth it.
And it's also, also nice to consider, when you're going to throw a nade, ask yourself, why am I throwing this nade? It's a really existential question. It's why should I go for this nade? What does it achieve for me? In that case, you make the Maxim move 3 feet to the left and then go right back inside the garrison. If, for example, it does buy time for the Stormpioneers to get there, but it's about, can I use this nade to win an engagement, to turn it? Or if I have more squads moving in, can I force the Maxim to reface and then follow up with more squads? If you're just going to nade then retreat, it doesn't really achieve anything.
Does that question keep you up at night?
It does. It really does. It's one of the things that challenges me. As a person, as a shoutcaster, as a Molotov dodger.
Oh, he dodges in front of it, which means he hits the Maxim there. So basically, in this situation, Shadowlink, he's seen the Maxim. Against a Maxim, you really, really want an ISG, if not 2 of them, just because how else do you clear garrisons against Maxims?
Uh-oh, Shadowlink. You're 10 manpower away from the danger zone. Oh, the danger zone. No.
1,000 manpower.
1,000 manpower.
Yeah, there's no reason to be floating that much. You always want to build stuff. I mean, it just goes without saying, but anything's better than nothing. Like there is literally anything, maybe apart from a Kubel, that would benefit Shadowlink right now. Floating that much manpower, you're gonna lose territory. Is behind in PopCap. Just build some well, he doesn't have False Media. Build an MG, and he's blocked in special operations. Okay, so ISG, Volt, Storms, just Raketten, just anything.
At this
just
point,
build something.
double ISG into Obers would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, actually, he has. Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he's floating to get some Obers out.
Yeah, still an ISG would be nice, and you're still gonna have enough for at least an Obers squad.
And it definitely needs a Raketten because if a T70 comes out, Volks Shreks won't cut it. Ooh, infiltration nades almost get a wipe there. Because Volks on their own, you know, they can just get forced away. They can get pushed around. They won't cut it. You have to actually get Rakettens, especially since next patch there won't be any Shreks anymore. Oh man, it's a lot of manpower. I had double fuel though, so Shadowlink's actually playing. He's got the map control going well for him, and that definitely helps out. Double Obers now. See, the problem with Obers though is there's 2 Maxims, and if there's Maxims in these houses, Obers aren't going to help you clear those garrisons like an ISG would. I think getting the ISG gives so much utility against those garrisons, and now he's going to be dealing with a T70 and there's no Raketten, so I guess I can see why he floated up that much manpower, but Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so now this T7 is gonna have a great time here. The Volks are actually pretty wounded. Have to be careful. Nice recover there. Gets behind the heavy cover there, but in the end, the squad is still too low. And now we could see Shadowlink lose all of his map control. There's a T70, there's MGs. He's gonna really struggle to take this garrisons back with no ISG.
Yeah, so moving that Maxim in, as we see it, ran up to the Strum Pioneers. With them, pretty much all your units, essentially, if you're moving them into no man's land, oh yeah, closing in with the Strum's not a good idea. If you're moving into no man's land, attack move is your best friend. Attack move, especially with MG, so they see a target, they will set up at max range and start suppressing the target. So always attack move. Attack move is your friend. You don't want to be running a Maxim past a Strum Pioneer squad and find out too late and have it wiped.
Oh yeah, with most things in general, attack moving, snipers, mortars, riflemen, it's just a safe way of using machine guns and just weapons in general. Okay, now we have guards as well now. So we've got 4 cons, Maxims, T7. It looks like a pretty all-rounded composition. I feel like also General would benefit from a mortar, and he does have the heavy mortar, so that would be even more benefit. Just because garrison clearing is important on a map like this. We're going to see the STGs come out, which is going to give a lot of damage boost to these Obers.
And there's where Obers aren't fantastic, running into Maxim arcs. There goes 50 manpower down the drain that didn't need to fall. So an ISG would be awesome, but of course you've seen the Raketten, so you've seen the T70, sorry, so the Raketten,
oh no.
Important here, very important.
Getting a nade, it does actually cross the arc though, but that's fine. Gets a nade. Oh no. See, T70s are scary. It's kind of like the bully in the sandbox, the sand pit. You just don't want to go anywhere near them. Like it's not worth the risk. They may punch you in the face and embarrass you in front of your friends, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Is he wanted to nade the Maxim, but you got to think about it. Even if he wiped the Maxim, which is a big if, but even if he wiped the Maxim, what was that going to achieve? Nothing. He can recrew the Maxim.
Yeah, it's right next to the base. So yeah.
If the Maxim was over here, okay, maybe because then, then he can salvage. He can capture it himself. But the Maxim was so far in friendly territory that there was no real chance of actually denying the Maxim. And it just meant that he was right next to a T70. The squad was low. There was a flamer there. He just lost a squad there, and that is so valuable because this is one of his 2 only Shreks, and the T70 on the side as well. So this is just the problem with not building Rakettens. He's just gonna basically lose the game to a T70 because there's no counters. He's not too far off his Panzer IV, but he's lost his fuel. And part of the reason why he lost his fuel is because he didn't build any infantry. He waited until Obers. He floated up 1,000 manpower and didn't have any AT in time for a T70. And allied players will always go for light vehicles. Whether it's a T70, whether it's a Stuart, whatever it is, they all do the same thing. You need to have those preemptive Rakettens, preferably with mines, and not overextend.
So, recipe for disaster and sand in your eyes in the case of the bully machine.
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's right.
So this is just deadly. Just, yeah, every T70 shot is just manpower down the drain.
I mean, this was pretty poorly microed here by General. He could have wiped that squad easy.
Yeah.
He let it run away, though, by not chasing it down. Okay, now this is another one of those situations where you have to think about what you want. What is Shadow's problem? His problem is this T70. Like, that's what's killing him, and how does he deal with that?
AT?
Okay, well, yeah, well, a P4, a P4, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the P4 because he doesn't have fuel. So he wants fuel, but then why is he trying to poke the Maxim, clear out the church? He's trying to be aggressive when his priority, you got to kind of limit your scope of what are you trying to achieve, what do you need, and how do you achieve that? And what he needs to do is get the P4. and he's going to get the fuel now, but it probably won't hold it though. Once the T-70 swings in, he's going to force him off. He won't really hold the fuel. Whereas, if Shadowlink, if he actually kind of committed himself, getting some sandbags, hold the fuel, he may be able to get the fuel for long enough. Whereas, trying to, like, this sort of play here, like, this is just going to end up in getting retreated. And when you have to retreat, then you lose your fuel, you lose your map control, it delays your P4. So I think that's one thing you need to try and do is don't try and do everything at once. Just try and focus on the small things, one step at a time. Okay, I need to get my fuel. I need to get a VP, get a P4. Then when my P4 comes out, which should be quite soon, then I can actually start trying to force away Maxims, trying to kill the T-70, trying to get some terror, like this for example. This is just going to end up in having to retreat the Volks. You may be better off, trying to hold this cutoff, leave a squad in their house. Needs to just not do too much, if that makes sense.
We don't have the superior unit composition. Hold on to what you can. Big points, obviously, as the machine was saying, you need fuel, so hold on to the fuel point. Another big one is, can you hold a VP? If you can, fantastic. You do not want to be triple capped at any point in the game. The VPs will punish you so hard.
Especially when you only have 2 Shreks. You have to be very conservative with your AT. And by over, like this, he's going to lose that Volk squad if the T-70 aims it, which he probably won't. But a good player in that situation would have retargeted and chased him down and killed the Volks. So that's just, and what do you achieve from that? You deny about, what, 10 munitions, which for a Soviet who's floating 150 munitions, it's just meaningless. So Shadowlink actually can build people. I think in this situation he's going straight for his Command Panther. Not a bad decision, but the thing is though is that he's going to lose his cutoff, and he can't hold the cutoff unless he gets a P4 out. If he's worried about AT, you can just get Raketans, deal with that. We will wipe this con squad though, a bit of a miss micro there, a bit of inattentiveness. Nice, the nades will get this one though. Oh, he survives, but I don't think he's going to retreat from this one. Not with his STG Obers there, nope.
No. So actually smart in that situation. Obviously, if you know you're going to leave an MG, for example, you get to that engagement late, you see the MG's going to die. Instead of giving it to your opponent by evacing and then dying on the doorstep, leave the MG inside the garrison, and then it will despawn, so you won't have access to it anymore. So that is the correct plan in that situation. And as a small one-up for Shadowlink here, the nade dodges are on point.
I don't know if that was intentional. I think he actually was trying to evacuate the Maxim, but ultimately he was killed in time. GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik. We actually forgot to Google who that is. I'm sure it's some World War I general or something like that. There's a few people here that are in the community that just have weird, like, real life names. So now we have territory kind of going back towards Shadowlink. But can he hold it though? The P4 is being built. Great. It's a little bit late though.
Awesome choice though.
And when you need a unit, you have to kind of focus on getting that P4 out. ASAP. AT grenades are coming out from GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik.
Ooh, is that a heavy mortar? My favorite type of mortar machine.
Yeah, it is.
It is fantastic. Okay, excellent choice. Really rounds out this composition quite well. Obviously, going to have to be going for a bit of tech soon, heading towards those T-34-85s for our Soviet man. Should be going up to Tier 4 soon.
Fair bit of fuel here for the Soviet player. Could go for a second vehicle if he wanted to. So now actually, General's being cut off. Doesn't really have any territory actually in. And this T-70 is getting pretty low here. Needs to back that one away. So now that the P4 is on the field, this is happy time for Shadowlink. This is where good things happen. This is where you want to be.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
T-70 needs a few more repairs.
Yeah, it's about 2 though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, as well. So we can rotate a couple of squads over here. General Field Marshal could lose. No, the engineer squad retreats in time. This is actually a really well-rounded composition from the Field Marshal. I really like it. You have guards. I'm not sure if they have the DPs. I'm hoping they do. Yes?
Yeah, already
have the DPs. So the buttons available. Conscripts are there. They're good frontline infantry. A couple of squads for repairs. 2 Maxims, that's the suppression and garrison control in the middle. Heavy mortar allows you to fight over the garrisons again and also deny any support weapons.
I think you wiped the squad.
That there are any from Shadowlink here at the moment. AT gun as well.
And that's kind of how you should be using tanks, is you're just finding the out of position and overextended squads and just inflict manpower bleed. So nice work here. Yeah, I mean, he's doing okay. Like, you know, he's doing fine. Then the next plan for him is probably to get out a Command Panther, but in the meantime, I still think having a Raketin would benefit because a P4, because map control has been in the hands of General for a while, so we could see an SU-76, SU-85, or something like that come out. I think it forced away by the Zis gun there.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
Ooh, almost loses the Obus to the
ouch.
mortar.
Yeah, those heavy mortars are vicious. Don't want to fight under the fire. So, we'll have a look at the composition here from Shadowlink. So, he has 1 squad of Storm Pioneers. So, 1 squad for repairs, and without having access to the tier 2, the mechanized, not going to have repairs from there. 1 squad can be enough. Storm Pioneers repair quite quickly. But at 870 manpower at the moment for him, you know, needs a Raketin, needs an ISG. As the machine was saying earlier, nothing would really go amiss. There's not a bad choice when you're floating 900 manpower.
Apart from a Kubel. Don't put a Kubel 22 minutes into the game.
Or apparently rear echelon if you're me playing the Arden's Assault. So.
But still, the problem for Shadow is these Maxims, and that's where the ISG really comes in handy. And also, you know, dealing with tank destroyers would be a problem. But we probably will be seeing the guard motor, the T-3485, which again, Raketin, you cannot rely on Shreks. They're like the higher you get up in ELO, Shreks become less effective. But also remember, Shreks are going away soon. You're gonna get Sturm Shreks, but you're gonna have to rely on Raketins more in conjunction with the Panzerfausts, in conjunction with the Raket buffs. So you know it's a good time being an OKW player, but you just have to get out of the habit of over relying on them. So this gun is in position. Is it though? Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, the arc just covering the people.
Triple cap on as well. So Shadowlink is actually doing fine. Like we're supposed to be giving him advice, but he's winning. So it's kind of hard to do so.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of that is just because General is making plenty of mistakes himself. But still floating a lot of manpower. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, please. You hurt the machine's feelings when you float manpower. It physically pains him. No one likes that. So
Our territory is falling to enemy.
yeah, just spend it. That's kind of the main tip. Can't really go much beyond that. Other than that, it's nice to see both of our players well and truly spending their munitions.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah, I hate to see munitions floats when there are so many effective ways to invest it.
And even really top players float munitions. A lot of players float munitions, and Shadowlink and even General have been pretty much just been spamming through them. So it is nice to see that. Otherwise, Shadowlink's getting pretty close to his Command Panther, so this game is only getting better and better. But a T-3485 could make things a little bit more difficult. T-3485 definitely able to 1v1 the Panzer IV, even with the armored skirts. Has the extra health. I think better penetration, probably, comparative to them.
It's a baller of a tank.
Okay, so what I would do in this
Also
situation,
have my target.
I would actually get the Volks to capture the cutoff and build sandbags, and then put the Obers up the VP. Just because Obers out in the open aren't going to do that well, but if you can get the sandbags are so important, especially when there's negative cover here. So I think that's one thing that I would love to see more of, is whenever you're capping a point, just build sandbags. And you gotta remember, if you build the sandbags behind the point, as I said earlier, your opponent can't use it against you. So it's free. It's not gonna backfire, but this capture may backfire. Oh no, loses the vet to Obers. Mark target being thrown down on. Weird, because there was no follow-up on the. I guess it scared him away, but you kind of don't want to blow that ability unless you actually have follow-up in mind.
Especially when you don't have a lot of munitions in the bank.
I like how there's 2 Shreks now.
Yeah.
Just instantly teleported. So the middle, pretty well held by these Maxims. There's a VP, and there's 2 Maxims overlooking it. Rebuilding the Obers. Okay, at least he's spending his manpower, but...
Not perhaps in the best way, yeah. ISG. Just ISG. It's about as
Rocketing.
plainly as I can put it, yeah.
But even... Like, 3 Obers is better than 1,000 manpower
That's
float.
true, yeah.
It looks like this was actually decrewed, though. Well, that Nag got the Maxim pretty low here. T70 now has shown up. Maybe going for the wipe.
Yeah. Gotta see some more aggression with this T70. Hasn't seen a Raketin. I mean, that's not to assume that they're
Oh, he's been a Raketin
isn't
now.
one.
Yes!
Perfect. Love it.
That makes me happy.
Love it, Shadowlink. Right, so the T70 does need to go more aggressive. T70
What?
is all about wipes.
He built
I'm
a
out.
76.
About.
Okay, so in this situation, there is basically no reason ever to build a T-34 76 as opposed to a T-34 85. Come back, like I need you.
Is it over?
No, it's still alive, but I don't think we'll see it last very long
Has it
against...
turned into an 85 yet?
No, it hasn't turned into 85 yet. Like, the T-34 85 is just better in every
And
way.
an ISG!
Yay!
And an ISG! You, Shadowlink. I mean, a little bit late, but you're a champion for building those
And
units.
there's just
so,
enough
yeah.
manpower now for the Panther. So it's spending it eventually, which is great to see. One advantage of attack moving is you just hit cons like that. So that's something I would definitely recommend is always attack move. Okay, now we have the marked target and the T-34 76 as well. It's actually flanking it as well. This could go very bad. No, it was button rather. It wasn't marked target. We have the Raketin there in position. Great work with the Raketin, having it overlooking the Panzer IV. As we can see, 76s are really bad. Don't
They're
build them.
not good. They are not good.
They are getting buffed though, but they're still
Yeah.
not
Even-
going to be
yeah.
as good as an 85. I mean,
No.
obviously they're cheaper,
Yeah.
but
I believe we had one game where someone built so many 76s, but there was an
Lost.
occasion... Yeah, lost to me, yeah.
I think it was Red Wings.
Yeah, it might have
probably.
been. There are occasions where you can build 76s, and that occasion is RAM.
Yeah.
That's the only.
But
that's the only
RAM
way.
sucks though,
Yeah,
because RAM doesn't
it
always
does.
penetrate.
Yeah.
In a competitive edition mod, it's changed. Oh, that mine.
Ouch.
Ah, man, lost these Obers.
Another
yeah,
over
oh
squad
well.
down. Right, so yeah, Command Panther, go for that one by all means.
Oh, he's going for a King Tiger, I think.
Wow, okay.
Rebuilding his Obers, getting his another truck. It makes sense though, because
It does.
the Command Panther is primarily anti-tank.
Yeah.
And there's only a 76 and a T70, both of which the Panzer IV is going to annihilate. So a King Tiger is definitely a better choice in this situation. Just takes longer and costs more, but you know, better late game. I think that's sensible.
I'd agree there, Machine, especially when you look towards the VPs. I mean, Shadowlink's on 345 in no rush. GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik 247. VP's not dire for either of our players here. But
This T70 man has been
it's been more like could be more aggressive, but it's been well microed other than looking for wipes.
so the VP situation is in the favor of Shadowlink, but not by a lot. Whereas the ISG, it's actually very defensive. Should probably move that one up a little bit.
Please, Machine.
What?
Please.
The truck.
Just no. Please.
Oh no,
GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik.
at 76. Oh no.
Please.
And the thing is, he can afford it. Look at the fuel here for General. He has enough fuel for 85, which would be better in every way imaginable. Yeah, I don't get that. Okay, ISC opening up now. His Ober's just having a
That's it. Look at
hard
this
time.
situation.
Oh
It's just
no!
like, you just walk
Oh
the T70 up and,
no!
oh, not another wipe.
G7. It's such an OP unit. It's so overpowered. But yeah, really should have the Panzer IV being more aggressive in terms of forcing engagements. Like, for example, the Panzer IV should maybe securing the VP. Either way, though, 76 going in for the engagement, but there is a retreats to the Raketin. Okay, still there isn't really any threat because the 76 sucks, as it with Panzer IV doesn't bounce.
For shame.
Doesn't penetrate.
Panzer IV, for shame.
All right, so we have two 76s. He needs to repair this, though. I mean, we said how bad they are, but if a P4 has half health, has to be careful. If there's too many, Shadow can just call in a Command Panther if he's desperate. Yeah, he has all 3 trucks now, though, and he's not far off his King Tiger either.
T-34-76.
Yeah.
What is your purpose?
We have 1 kill and we
What
have
is your
5
purpose?
kills. I don't even know what the purpose
Yeah.
is.
Look, 85s are a thing. Probably a misclick. I mean, it's got to be a misclick.
No, not a he wouldn't build 2 of them if it was a misclick.
You don't think?
No.
Maybe he just thinks the icon for the 76 is the one he gets with it. I don't know. I'm very confused. Yeah, 85 is generally preferred though.
Nice, gets the wipe. So still
Should
this
not cap that. Oh, okay, doesn't cap that. That was good.
this Panzer IV is very low. He needs to repair that one. Using the crew repair actually. Okay, so meanwhile at the top here we have Ober's going to be killing these engineers. Volk's looking for the VP.
Well, there go the repairs from GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik. Will need to be adding on some more combat engineer squads if he plans on keeping the T-34s on the field.
Yeah, there is at least the mech, and there is the Vet Force Sturm Pioneers, so he should be fine. But once he gets the King Tiger, you do certainly want to have more than one, just because... I mean, also Minesweepers, because often you'll see Soviet players, and there's mines here. He lost the Ober Squad to a mine earlier, especially when you see engineers nearby. You got to kind of maybe be a little bit more careful about sweeping the mines.
Oh no, not another Ober Squad. The VP, right side VP. How close are they going to go to the mine?
They're pretty low as well. I think he'll be. Oh, actually, could lose this one.
Oh no!
If he moves down here, this could be a wipe.
Yeah.
Mines are so. I'm so glad they're nerfing mines. So gimmicky. Oh man.
Fantastic change in there.
I don't want to look the camera away, but I kind of do at the same time.
I kind of don't want to see it. NSFW, just just in case. We're not sure at this point, but RT-70 maybe bait for the retreat or something. I don't know.
But the retreat's the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And why is he over here? Oh, kill him.
Oh Lord!
The enemy still has good points.
That's what happens when units don't right click on points, ladies and gentlemen, as well. We'll
Oh,
clump
of
up your
course.
squads.
Yes, that's a good point to talk about actually.
Yeah. Don't right click on points. Right click in the points, but not on them. Otherwise, your squad will clump up and things like that T-70 can happen. Please tell me it didn't happen again. Rashid, don't make me quit casting.
What, the 76?
Do I have to do it?
No, it not happened. You have to give up casting forever because there's 3
damn
76s.
it.
Look, to be fair, though, remember, these aren't, like, good players. Like, they're not high-tier players, so...
I really liked casting, though. Yeah.
Like, we obviously know
Yeah.
that this tank is
Yeah.
awful and you should never build it ever.
Yeah, but it's fair enough. The lower tier
and
players
this
might
other
not,
tank is
so,
fantastic
yeah.
and you should always build it.
Yeah.
But, these sort of players, they don't
Yeah.
know. They don't have the same game knowledge. So whilst for us, it may be a bit frustrating
Yeah.
to see them spam an awful tank, for them, they don't know that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not holding
be
it against
respectful,
them.
Blake. Be
Look,
respectful.
I mean, I'm annoyed, but I'm not holding it against them. I thought I
Okay,
made that
alright,
obvious,
that's fine,
Machine.
that's fine.
I am quitting as a caster, but
You're giving up.
I am, but I have nothing but respect for people who are trying to improve their game. No disrespect intended. It just hurts my heart. So yeah, that's why we give advice videos. Build 85s, don't build 76s.
Yep.
No offense meant to our players at all.
Okay, so Shadowlink is very close to his King Tiger. That's going to be a bit of a game winner, I think, because a T-34-76 rear armor is going to have like a 10% chance of penetrating.
Yeah.
I'm also glad they're nerfing rear armor on heavies. Okay, now we can see an engagement here. Volks could go down though. Oh, loses the Volks.
Oh no.
I mean, he's going to maybe get a couple of tanks down with him, but losing that vetted Volks is a bit of a blow here. Not actually microing back his 76, but at the same time, the rear arm is exposed on the Panzer IV. This is actually a little bit risky here. Combat Blitz would also give him a better accuracy and a better received accuracy, thus giving him better trading. They're going in aggressive though. Oh, he kills it in the end. Oh, man.
Rocketting going to be refacing. We also saw one of the Vol squads go down. Had a Shrek on it as well. That's really unfortunate for Shadowlink. There we go. One of the T-34s, 76s go down. That's 2 down so far.
Not a big deal, though. Not a good trait for Shadowlink, but his kicking target is close to coming back. So, not the end of the world. I mean, the ultimate mistake there, he had it kind of facing the side, and that gave 2 rear armor penetrations. Because the Panzer IV with armored skirts has pretty decent armor, and the T-34-76s are bad. So they don't penetrate very reliably. So that engagement definitely could have been a different story if the rear armor... It was side armor, but the fact that, when you're facing the side and like the back half of your tank or close to it counts as rear armor. You're giving free penetrations that just shouldn't occur. So that was just a big mistake there for Shadowlink, and mainly the positioning of his tank. But at the same time though, why would he be that aggressive when he's so close to his King Tiger?
Yeah.
He maybe should have waited. You know, maybe like he didn't have a VP problem. He had 200 VPs. He just waited for his King Tiger, which was going to be coming any moment now, and then go for a big attack. Yeah.
Can certainly work. Mine is most definitely still active on that right-hand side VP. We could be seeing everyone go down. Love seeing our players building mines. Mines win games, and at the moment wipe squads. So, however, the sweep is moving up. Love it, Shadowlink.
Yeah, nice.
Knew the engineers were in the area earlier, and so moves the sweeper up on the Sturm Pioneers. Brilliant play.
All right. Oh, DP. Nice.
Oh, really?
As the LMG from the guards.
That's dangerous.
Okay,
Dangerous
so
squad.
The insta kill everything game winning T70 is here, going straight for the. Oh no! Oh, it's so OP though.
Don't right click on
why
points.
isn't he retreating? He should insta retreat from this.
Like
Like there is no. Oh no! He's just losing. You should have just instant retreated in that situation. King Tiger's here, but he hasn't got any squads left.
Yeah, there are no squads to cap with. That makes things difficult.
Yeah, he should have retreated the moment he saw that.
Yeah.
One Shrek is not going to 1v1 a T70. Two Shreks, you're probably still going to lose a squad against a Vet 3 T70. But the King Tiger's here, but I feel like the VP situation is going to be a bit of a problem.
This T70 is bullying so hard. It's bullying
Oh,
out of control.
This unit is
Nick,
so...
do you even T70 machine? Do you even cap points with your T70? That's a real question.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's capping the VP with it. That's good to see.
Yeah, nice. Good play.
76 is here. And the thing is, there's already a tier 4 here, so he could just go straight for a SU-80. Oh, he's bringing an 85!
Oh,
Yes!
Yes!
This makes me happy.
Okay, cool. I also really enjoy this. Is there already an S85 on the field, or?
No, it's 76s.
It's definitely both 76s, so... I really enjoy this. I enjoy seeing players learn on the job. It's like, okay, I'm building the wrong unit here. I can build the 85 instead. I really like that. That's good. That's fantastic.
If he when he sees the King Tiger, I hope we see him cancel it and build a SU-85.
Yeah,
SU-85s, they're not that great, but the fact that the King Tigers is so slow, you can just kite them forever. I mean, the problem with tank destroyers is Shrek blobs. But if there's no Shrek blobs, on their own, a King Tiger is actually pretty easy to deal with. It's just when it's supported that's when you have trouble dealing with it.
Alright, so Shadowlink down to 105 VPs at the moment. GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik on 247 in an excellent position with the King Tiger. However, does need a few more squads out on the field.
Yeah, it needs his VPs desperately. Building Volks, though, I think is clever rather than Obers because they're cheaper, come faster, and more durable, which is what he needs for the VPs. But I don't see this game going... I mean, there's a tank on pretty much every VP now.
I see this going for a marked target all in on the King Tiger.
There's plenty of munitions as well here.
Yeah.
We're going to have no button. There's no guards. Unless the Sturm Pioneers can button. But they died, unfortunately. But no, you can't button even if you steal a DP. That would be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But marked targets available. And we have, what, 3 tanks?
Yeah.
One of which being good. Well, I guess... I mean, if you consider this a tank, then it is a tank as well. Then that's good too. I don't know why it's here though.
Still triple capped in favor of GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik. Looks like Shadowlink may go down here.
Yeah, he's going for the VPs. It's nice to see. Obers should just go straight for this VP, but either way here, I don't really see this game going well for Shadowlink with such little time left. We'll be a dead 76. This gun's gonna be bouncing all day.
You gotta look at these
man.
50 VPs. You have to prioritize VPs and get squads onto those points right now.
Okay, now he's going in with a 76. If he keeps flanking it, you know, not too bad. But the marked target should be coming down now. He's gonna be blocking it off as well, but still bouncing the rear armor. But then connecting the front with the 85.
Stops reverse moving as well.
Yeah, no, he actually may lose his King Tiger if he's not careful. But there is a Raketten for support. Very important to have that. Making a big difference here. Actually, abandoned is the 85.
T-34
the
are
76.
going to be backing out of the arc.
Oh, there's a marked target. This shot comes through as well here. King Tiger looking pretty dead to me. One more shot should secure this tank, but once again, it doesn't really matter because there's no VPs left. Oh no, I think he's going to survive. As long as he doesn't get this shot penning. Yeah, there we go. King Tiger survives.
We're down to 10 VPs, and Shadowlink won't be able to get this game.
Yeah,
back
GG
in
for
his
Shadowlink
favour.
there. Alright, so...
Forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Okay, so for a start, I mean, no matter what faction you're playing, you always got to have AT and preemptive AT. I mean, I guess maybe his reasoning is, you know, I have Shreks, I don't need Raketans, but and maybe on a map that's like more urban and you can kind of rely on Shreks, but on this map, no, especially with Shreks being removed. But ultimately, this game 100% entirely came down to this unit. This thing is why Shadowlink lost this game. Was because of this really stupid unit. But either way, I mean, it was his fault. He didn't build Raketans. He didn't have mines. He was overextending with caps that weren't really going to achieve much. When you capture a point and you know your opponent has such potent light vehicles that can wipe your squads, you have to kind of have either a Raketan nearby or have a P4 nearby. So when we saw the squads constantly try and cap the VPs, he should have maybe just get a Raketan up there, send the P4 up there. You got to kind of synergize your army together in a way that you can anticipate your enemy's actions and deal with that. And that may sound complicated, but it's really not. He has a Vet 3 T70. I'm capping a VP. He's probably going to send his T70 to the VP, and then you just have a P4 there or a Raketan there. So I think that's the main thing to take away from this. I mean, obviously there's a lot to learn, and Company Heroes is a very complicated game. There's a lot of strategy involved. It can be quite daunting, and we maybe we're, you know, very nitpicky, but I think that's the main thing to focus on is make sure I have enough AT. And he was floating so much manpower that there was always the potential to build a Raketan. And overextending to get those decaps isn't going to achieve anything. And what he really needed to do was focus on the fuel, hold a fuel, get a P4 out, use that P4 to give him freedom and safety to start capping the VPs and actually get the territory back.
On the side of GeneralFieldMarshallWollnik, overall a well-played game. He was floating quite hard on manpower in the early game, and that's, you know, something you have to deal with. Make sure you're just getting a few more squads out. I agree with the commander choice. I thought that was quite good. Guard mode up, big ups. You know, heavy mortars are great. Guards are great. T-3485s are great when you build them.
Yeah.
We definitely recommend, gentlemen, recommend building 85s over the T-3476s. But hey, we all make mistakes.
You guys should see StarCraft play StarCraft.
Yeah.
Man, Blake played his first...
It is embarrassing. Yeah. Talk about manpower float. How about mineral and gas float? You think it's bad to float one resource? Try floating two.
Yeah, I should mention that this map is probably the map where light vehicles are the strongest. It's so open. There's so many roads. It actually is very hard to deal with light vehicles. T-70 in particular. But... you know, you got to have those mines. You got to have those Raketans set up and the P4 and such. What else was the other mistakes? Oh, we didn't have enough sweepers. We lost too many squads to mines. Well, it wasn't not having enough sweepers. It was more like
not using the sweepers when moving squads.
You should
out.
always be capping with your Stern Pioneers rather than Obers and such. ISG for the Maxims. You know, ISG is a very strong, and he had an ISG. Didn't really do much with it though. He was, I think, a bit too defensive.
Late,
like what is this gonna do? Not gonna do much here, but 10 kills. But if you had it more forward, actually dislodging those garrisons, and that's something that some players struggle with is actually dealing with machine guns and garrisons, and that's just what artillery is for. Pack howitzers, mortars, ISGs. Of course, building sandbags helps, but I would say just take a bit more of a defensive approach. Don't try and capture the entire map.
Yeah.
Just try and chill, especially as Axis. I mean, allies, you kind of need to be a bit more aggressive, but Axis, both OKW and Wehrmacht, are both pretty defensive factions. You have good late game, you have good unit synergy. I mean, I guess anyone does. That's a pretty vague statement, but...
Cap to a point and then find a defensible location to hold those positions. Yeah. So, for example, I cap up the right-hand side of the map. I cap the fuel. I cap this VP here. I'm not going to cap the munitions point. It's right next to my enemy's base. Instead, you know, I've got the VP, I've got the fuel, two really important points. I want to hang on to them. I want to hang on to the cutoff. Maybe I send, you know, a Vol Squad to hold here. Maybe I send a Vol Squad to hold, you know, buy some heavy cover. I mean, this garrison is nice. There's only one window on this side. It's quite siegeable, but it can definitely buy you time to move other squads into position to have more squads in this area. But if I move a squad up and try and cap the munitions point, I'll get forced off, and all of a sudden, this is free reign from my opponent. My opponent can cap the VP, can cap the fuel, but if I find a defensible location and even better sandbags, as the machine was saying earlier, if I get some sandbags down, even on the fuel point, and I can hold that position and force my opponent's squads off, it leaves my other squads free to cap on other areas of the map. So yeah,
I think probably the best thing to do for this map in particular, if you have a squad in here and a squad with sandbags, like, how are you going to clear that out?
Yeah.
Also on this map, I would definitely recommend Luftwaffe, just so you have the MG34s. If you have an MG34 in this house, MG34 in this house, how do you push through that?
Yeah.
You have mortars, but like MG34s on urban maps are always worth going. The STG Obers, they're nice, but on this map, which is this open, what are STG Obers going to achieve more than LMG Obers? I think also mainly he wanted the infiltration nades, and we did have some good nades that we saw in the early game.
Certainly, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So hopefully this helps. I know we were I get a bit nitpicky, and it's ultimately just practice, but I think you have to kind of take a bit more of a critical approach. And when you're playing, it's hard to do that. It's easy for anyone to watch a replay and just go, do that better. But like, and when you're playing, you have all those biases and the stresses. I think what really helps is watching your own replays.
Yeah.
And
You have to take an objective look at the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I suffer from that. I think a lot of people suffer from that. It's just, you're playing, and just like, I did everything perfectly. I couldn't have done a thing better during that game. And
God.
it's like, no, that's completely
That's
wrong.
Blake's favorite thing to
it's my
say.
favorite thing to say when I'm raging hard.
It's like,
and
I don't
I've
even
lost a
know
video
why I
game.
lost. I
don't
played
even know.
perfectly, and I was watching him,
Yeah,
and
and
just,
then
like,
the
make so
machine
many
can go on a
mistakes.
half-hour rant about what I did wrong, and then I was like, yeah, you're 100% right. My bad. Yeah, so it's you have to look at your games objectively and be self-critical in order to improve. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. So,
and ultimately, don't float ever.
yes,
Just
yeah,
floating.
that's cool.
No, don't do it. And when you're at this kind of level, you don't get punished as hard. But as you kind of verse better and better plays, you will get punished more and more for these kind of mistakes. Floating up manpower is just squads that you don't have, which means territory that you lose, territory that you can't hold. But yeah, I think the best way to deal with light vehicles, don't overextend. You can't have a Raketin on every VP, but you don't need to. Just hold what you can, get a P4 out, and then when you have the opportunity to be aggressive, when you have a P4, then look for engagements. But anyway, that'll wrap us up for now. So thanks for doing the replay, and of course, thanks again for backing us on Patreon, Mr. Shadowlink. And if anyone does want to support us, as shoutcasting now is my full-time job, focusing on the channel, posting a video every day. There are various rewards for our Patreon. Again, you get your replay casted, you can get a shirt sent out, all that cool stuff. So it's a great way to keep the channel alive and help us keep making RTS games cool.
Yes. Well put,
That's our
machine.
tagline, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Fantastic. Thanks, guys.